Arcade Perfect by Arse.
Right, okay guys, welcome to another Arcade Perfect, my Arse, and this week we're taking a look at Cabal, released in 1982 by the Tad Corporation. Which was that Party Tato? I'm really not quite sure. Now I think this game originally came out using a trackball, but this is the joystick one. Now, I don't think I've ever actually played this game, you know that? So, right, that's machine gun, I think. Yep. I'm just trying to see, so is that square thing, is that bit at the bottom, does that tell you how many bad guys there are? I think it does. I'm trying to actually see if that's going down, I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure why that bush keeps kind of shaking when I shoot it. Can I destroy it? I'm really not quite sure. I'm actually not sure what that energy bar at the bottom is. Is it energy bar? Is it bullets? It doesn't seem to be changing when I kill guys, so I don't think it's got anything to do with how many enemies there's left to kill. Oh, big points for wiping that out. Hey! Yes, it doesn't take itself too seriously. I'm actually quite curious as to see how the home versions are going to pan out. Yeah, very, it does play quite like Operation Wolf, but just with a slightly different control system, although at the end of the day you're still just moving across here. So Operation Wolf was obviously... Oops, I ran out of bullets, not bullets, I ran out of ammunition, I think. Ah, balls. Right, let's continue. Oof. Yeah, compared to Kitty, I don't know, it doesn't feel quite as frantic as, bloody hell, saying that I've just died. Is that game over? No, it's not quite. Maybe I've spoken too soon. Yeah, definitely spoken too soon. Let's bang in one more credit. Why is he balancing on one leg? There's a fair bit of humour in this. Oof. Yeah, definitely spoken too soon. Anyway, that's got a nice little game. That's Cabal, and that's the arcade one. Let's crack on and take a look at some home versions. Right, okay, this is the MS-DOS one. Right, have we got any sound? Ah, we have got sound. Wonderful. Right, I've no idea how this is going to control. F1, one player. Let's go for joystick and see if joystick's going to work. Hey! Right, okay, how do we fire? Ah, right, okay, it does actually use the two fire buttons, which is nice. Now, if you excuse the rather garish colours, the animation in this is excellent. You never really think of the PC as, you know, sort of early PC games as being game over, blimey. Right, let's go again. Has been particularly capable when it comes to, you know, arcade games. But that just kind of goes to show. The animation is really fluid. It's fast. As I say, it's just a pity the colours. Blimey, that is difficult. Just a pity the colours are so horrible looking. And I've got to say, it plays really, really nice. Take that. Yeah, sound is god awful. It's not quite a commando, but anyway. Come on, let's get past. Let's go to the next level. Ah, bollocks. Is that game over? No, not yet. Yeah, it's even got the little, I was going to say a little animation thing. I suppose that's about the best way to describe it. Yeah, you know what? That is rather excellent. Smashing. Yeah, that's the MS-DOS one. Let's batter on. And this is the NES one. Now, for some strange reason, most NES arcade conversions, they never ever really seem to stick to the original recipe. They always kind of take the original and then they add in bits, they change levels about, which, you know, I understand why they do it. They're probably trying to make it, you know, maybe easier because it's a home version, and they're maybe trying to give you more sort of value for money. But I think if I was, you know, back then, I would have wanted an arcade perfect one rather than, you know, an NES flavoured one. So let's see if this bucks a trend. Right, okay. Oops. Wait a minute, I'm just throwing away all my... Whoops. Now, I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure how the movement of this is actually working. If you hold it left or right, yes. Right, okay, yeah. Basically, letting go of the fire button moves the guy, and then if you hold in the fire button, yeah, it just moves the crosshair. That is never the first level. Blimey, that was a bit easy. The graphics they're not bad, to be fair. At least it does stick very faithfully to the original. A little bit garish looking. Ah, balls. Yeah, that's game over, I think. Yep. An interesting control system in this. If you hold down the fire button, it does the machine gun, but if you just tap the fire button, what was that? If you tap the fire button, it does grenades. I don't know why they don't use a second fire button in this. Certainly a lot easier than the other ones we've looked at. Like I say, at least they've kept faithful to the oh, bollocks. They've kept faithful to the arcade version. Now, like you get with quite a few NES games, there is a bit of kind of sprite flicker going on. Alright, that's game over. Let's go for one more shot. This is certainly a tougher level. Balls. Right, anyway, enough of that. That is NES one. Not bad at all, actually. Let's crack on. Right, this is the Atari ST one. Nice title screen. Quite nice music as well, actually. Started F1 for one player. Yep, not bad graphics. Pretty, alright, okay, yeah, you hold down the fire button to lob grenades into, sorry, you hold down the fire button. Why is it lobbing grenades? I'm not quite sure what's going on there. No, bollocks. Oh, get that. I'll have some of that, thank you very much. Oops, almost. Yeah, I mean, not bad at all. Obviously, the ST has got, you know, compared to the arcade, the colour palette is somewhat limited. Or that's probably the wrong thing to say. There's a lot less. There's fewer colours on screen. Graphically wise, it's not bad. Ah, balls. Sound is a wee bit monotonous, or I should say the music is. Come on, how do we know when we're getting to the end of the level? I'm still trying to figure out what that bar at the top is. Is that energy, or I thought it was the number of enemies you've got to kill, but evidently not. That's going to be game over, certainly is. That's definitely harder than other ones. Yeah, not a bad version. That is Atari ST. Right, and next up is the ZX Spectrum. Now this is the Spectrum 128 version. You can tell that it's got better music. Right, and this is programmed by Jim Bagley, so I'm sure it's going to be something quite special. Let's see, number 2, we want to change that to Kempson joystick, and number 1 to, oops, 1 player, and then kill him, 0 to kill him. Fantastic. Now what I like about this version is rather than trying to accurately portray the graphics of the arcade one, it's taken its own sort of comical look to it. And that's what they should be doing with the 8-bit computers, because you need to remember, you know, these arcade games, they're on superior hardware, and trying to run an arcade game or program an arcade game to run on an 8-bit machine with limited memory, it's never going to be easy, and that's why so many arcade conversions are absolute pants, because it just quite simply cannot do it. Now the only slight criticism I would probably have is you've got to press the spacebar for grenades, which basically means you've got to take your hand off the keyboard or off the joystick for a second. But I do like the arcade, or sorry, the cartoon style graphics. Ah, balls. Wow, let's continue. That is hard though. better gun. There we go. Yay! Now we're talking. Right, he doesn't do the little kind of magical, what do you call it? Morecambe and Wise dance as he runs up the screen at the end of a level. So again, obviously, as expected, it's kind of monochrome graphics. You know, most Atari, what? You know what? It's getting late. That's why my brain is saying one thing and my mouth is just doing its own thing. That is why, you know, a lot of Spectrum arcade ports looked like that. I mean, they had the kind of higher res graphics, but they had very limited colour palette. But you know what? You're not gonna expect anything different, and that is what makes each kind of machine completely unique. Yeah, you know what? I like that. That is really, really nice. That is a ZX Spectrum one. Let's move on. Right, okay, this is the Amstrad one. Very, very dark and serious looking title screen, I think. Cabal, one player joystick. Kill 'em, yep, let's go for it. 0. Right. Now this, if I'm not mistaken, this does it does graphically wise, it kinda looks. Now is he meant to be? I was going to say why is he constantly flashing? Was this programmed by Jim Bagley perchance? Because they seem to have adopted the same kind of graphical style as the Spectrum one. Now one thing I'm not keen on is why is it only the sprites that have got any colour? Why are we playing against a completely grey background? You know, I don't understand that. The Amstrad has got a beautiful colour palette. I think it's definitely got the most colours, I think, of the 8-bit machines. Possibly the Atari's got more, I'm not quite sure, but yeah, the Amstrad has certainly got way more colours on screen than both the C64 and the Spectrum. So why we're playing against a grey background? It just looks unfinished again. Again, there's nothing really wrong with it as such. It says if they just put a wee bit more colour into it, it just would have made it look so much nicer. Yeah, let's go for one more go, I think. Now, is it my imagination, or there's quite a bit of slowdown when there's a lot of kind of action on screen? Yeah. Oh, dearie me, come on, no way. You know, I'm glad I wasn't an Amstrad owner, because I mean, if I had bought this back in the day, I would have been disappointed with it. You know, why are we playing this with a horrible turquoisey, cyany, light blue, whatever you want to call it, background? You know, the Amstrad is capable of doing so much better. But there was quite a few, you know, games that were ported straight across from the Spectrum, and this kind of looks like that's happened here. But yeah, I think it's a lazy port. A lot of slowdown going on as well. I mean, there's a lot of action on screen, but you know, when things start slowing up, just noticed something, and I've not noticed it in any other versions, probably because I'm a bit stupid, but the crosshair doesn't really move like smoothly. What it does is it kind of moves onto different levels, so you'll see there, I'm completely lined up, and if I push it up, it moves up a level, so there's only really, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, there's only really kind of 4 levels that it sort of moves on. Well, I think you can, oh, dearie me. Yeah, this, if somebody had told me this was a kind of pre-production beta version, I would have probably believed them, because, you know, if you're going to have monochrome background, then you'd be as well going the full hog and having everything else monochrome, because it just looks a bit weird having coloured sprites against completely bland backgrounds. Anyway, listen, I've had enough of that one. That is the Amstrad one. Right, okay, this is the first version of the C64. This is by Capcom. Now I don't know why there was 2 versions of this. So this is a Capcom one. Let's have a wee look. Right, how do we start? Oh, there we go. Right, have we got any sound? Ah, we have got sound. Right, okay. So the reason I'm not talking is I'm just trying to really figure out what I think of this. It doesn't, you know what? It doesn't really look like. It doesn't really look like a C64 game. Right, something is going a bit weird with the controls as well. Now there's, you know what? It almost looks and sounds like it's unfinished. I mean, the graphics for your character kind of look alright. The movement of the enemies is a bit... The sprites for the plane and the tank just look a bit naff. I don't know, and I mean, where's the other sound? Right, so where's that? Oh, okay, we've got a helicopter sound. There is no, other than the sound of your gun, there is no other sound. Well, apart from the sound of the helicopter, but in the first level, the only sound you've got... Now, I don't know why these little green guys can stop and stand on one leg. Watch this. I don't know what's going on there. No idea. Right, anyway, I'm not a fan of this version. It's a bit, like I said, it looks like it's unfinished. No idea how to throw grenades. Can you even throw them? You see there at the top it's using the built-in C64 font. Pressing spacebar does nothing. Yeah, anyway, listen, that's the first version. That is by Capcom, and that's on the C64. Let's take a look at the Ocean one. Right, okay, this is the second C64 version we're going to look at, and this was the one that came out by Ocean. Well, at least for starters, it's got some decent music. Okay, let's try and start the game. Right, okay, joystick, sound effects on, start game, yep, number 4. Now, right away, this just looks a lot nicer. Now, saying that, I was criticising the first version because of the lacky sound, and this one's only got this sort of doesn't have any noise when you actually kill anything. But I like the animation. The wee guys look good. Yeah, they're slightly blocky looking, but look at the animation. Everything runs really, really smooth. Game over. Blimey, that was tough. Right, my goodness. And the background graphics are really, really nice as well. Right. Spacebar lobs grenades. It's a tough old game though, that's one thing. Yeah, this is a lot better. I don't know why there'd be two versions. Would there be, you know, a different version released for the American market, possibly? And again, the only slight criticism of this is you've got to take your hand off the joystick to balls. To press the spacebar for grenades. I don't know why they couldn't have somehow, you know, utilised it with like double tapping or something like that. But yeah, that is a lot better. But then, to be fair, the first version is awful. So that's the C64 one. That is the Ocean version. Let's take a look at the very last version. Right, okay, last but by no means least, this is the Commodore Amiga one. Really nice title screen and some nice music. Right, how do we start? Right, F1, let's go. Right, straight off the bat, graphics are well defined. Animation of the guys is really nice. The one thing I've got to say that I don't like about this game, it's got nothing to do with the Commodore Amiga, it's not unique to this version, it's even the arcade one, is the control system. I don't like the fact that you're having to obviously aim using the crosshair, but when you're moving the crosshair left and right, your man is running along the bottom of the screen at a slower pace from the crosshair, and you end up, when you're too busy concentrating trying to shoot things, you end up kind of blindly running straight into hail of bullets. Now I don't know if that's just the way I'm playing it. Maybe there's, I mean, I know you can, I think you can do a kind of roll by pulling back. But I've not quite figured out how you throw grenades in this one. I seem to, like that, I'm really not too sure what I'm doing here, how I'm actually throwing these. But as far as an arcade conversion goes, this is top notch. Do I prefer this to Operation Wolf? No, I don't. Let's go in again. This is certainly a hard version. No, I think I prefer the no nonsense, just moving a mouse pointer or a gun, a light gun in Operation Wolf. I don't really like the fact that you're also having to kind of watch where your guy is at the bottom of the screen. Saying that, I've never played the arcade of, you know, Cabal. So, you know, I don't know what kind of controls it had in the arcade. I have no idea. You know, some of these arcade games, and Paperboy is a perfect example. It was designed with the specific controller in mind, and you know, Star Wars is another perfect example. When you get rid of the controllers, the bespoke controllers, and you try and make it work with a joystick or whatever, it's not going to be the same. Atari Warriors was another good example of that. Used a kind of spinner with a joystick, something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was. Never played the arcade of Atari Warriors, but again, that's one where I think it does lose out when it comes to home versions. But no, I mean this one it ticks all the boxes. It is a pretty faithful one. So anyway, let's do a wee summary. Right, okay, yeah, that is it. MS-DOS one, yeah, horrible colours, disgusting colours. But you know what? The animation is absolutely spot on, and the sound isn't too bad. The Amstrad one, disappointing. It kind of looks like a half-finished game. It's got coloured sprites, and it's just got the most awful coloured backdrops, which I simply don't get. Don't get it at all. Spectrum one. What I like about that version is Jim Bagley has he's not tried to replicate the graphics exactly. He's tried to basically work within the confines and use the strengths and weaknesses of or not weaknesses as such, but use the strengths of the Spectrum. And whilst it doesn't look exactly like the arcade game, it does play tremendously well. Atari ST, similar to the Commodore Amiga one, it doesn't play quite so fluidly. The colours are slightly more kind of brown, and I'm not talking about the C64 one. But I mean, all in all, not a bad version. NES one, it's okay, considering how much it would have cost to buy. Yeah, I think it could have been better. Though, saying that, I think the NES does struggle with sprites a wee bit, so it's okay. There is a bit of kind of corruption, bit of kind of graphical errors going on a wee bit. The first version by on the C64, I can't remember what it was it by whoever it was? It was awful, absolutely awful. It looks like an unfinished game. No idea what's going on there. The Ocean one, which came out in the UK, is really nice. I love the animation of the soldiers. Animation's spot on. Got really good music as well. And finally, the Commodore Amiga one. It's probably about as good as it could possibly have been. So let me think. In third place, I'm going to go with the Spectrum one. Like I says, really nice version. It doesn't try to, pretend it's an arcade game. It takes its strengths and it does a really nice kind of version for the Spectrum. Second place, I'm going to go for the Commodore 64. I think the sound is good, the graphics is good, and I'm talking about the Ocean one, by the way, not the first version. Excuse me. That's going to take the silver position. But I think, for me, the winner has got to be the Commodore Amiga one. It's the most powerful computer. It should technically have the best version, and in this case, it certainly does. So if you want to play a good version, then probably check out the Commodore Amiga. As always, guys, if there's a game, an arcade game you want to see get the Arcade Perfect My Arse treatment, just put your comments down below, or else post in my Facebook page, or indeed even in Discord if you're not already a member of that. As always, guys, thank you very much for watching.